Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Revisited, where we take a look at previously released pieces of content within the world of GTA Online and do a better job at making a video about said thing thanks to more up-to-date understanding, strategies and knowledge about such thing in question. And in today's video the thing in question is of course the Deluxo. And oh boy, where do we begin? I remember the first time seeing this in the Doomsday heist trailer, and I think I shared a similar opinion to that of most of the people when I thought to myself, really? What is this, gonna be friggin' future Cybertron GTA, friggin' laser guns, flying hovercars and stuff? Anyways, questionable design choice aside, despite its also pretty high asking price, the Deluxo was pretty well received by the community at the time. And it still is today according to my sources, but I gotta say, me personally, I never really used this thing. I'm not a DeLorean fan, and although I have watched the 3 Back to the Future movies numerous times, I'm not really one of those guys who's easily entertained by a futuristic hovercar. So I never really used this thing much, so I reached out to the community to give me some pointers when doing a review on this thing, and oh boy did you guys deliver! Especially YouTube user Blazing Onager for their high degree of enthusiasm, telling us all about his experience and things to be pointed out. And there was a lot of things to be pointed out regarding the Deluxo, so many in fact that this is pretty much going to be a Mythbusters Deluxo edition.
In this episode of GTA Mythbusters, can you hide yourself off radar in the Deluxo simply by splashing yourself in ocean waves? Can you avoid missiles by simply spinning around in place? And can you make yourself go faster by performing some simple steps? All this and more on GTA Mythbusters.
Let's begin, shall we? The Deluxo, the first ever vehicle to branch the world of Grand Theft Auto Online into the world of sci-fi and bullshit. With the ability to fly like it has some quantum anti-gravity machine or some shit. It can be outfitted with 30 onboard missiles, of which have pretty damn good tracking performance and a good rate of repeatable fire. And some onboard machine guns of which the bullets suck. What's interesting is the fact that if you decide not to attach any onboard weapons to the Deluxo, you can make use of your standard drive-by weapons, allowing you to have a greater degree of accuracy when it comes to foot personnel, probably, and even fire out flares using a flare gun to make up for the car's lack of onboard flares. The car isn't the fastest thing in the game, which is understandable of course, but what is important to know is that the car can accelerate and travel at varying speeds depending on what mode you are driving the car in, and if you're just hovering or flying high above the ground. The car has the highest top speed when it's in wheel mode, followed by hovering along the ground and then finally flying high in the air. However, acceleration-wise, it's actually faster to start off in hover mode and then switch to wheel mode to take advantage of its top speed. Win-win. What's also cool is a trick that allows you to increase the top speed of fly mode. While flying, if you change into wheel mode and then change back into fly mode, while still staying high up in the air, you'll actually fly a little faster than if you didn't change at all. But the coolest thing about this vehicle isn't about how it can defy gravity while shooting missiles at enemy combatants, it's the many varied ways of avoiding missiles coming from enemy combatants while defying gravity.
Myth number 1. You can charge head-on towards an oppressor MK2 and come out on top of a joust if you pull up.
Confirmed. Yes, it's true, and it's actually rather easy. The only thing you have to make sure is that you're about equal altitude to the enemy oppressor Mark II, or whatever else is firing missiles at you. Simply wait for them to fire off a shot and then pull up as the missile flies towards you. Testing this out, we were consistently able to avoid a missile trade in favor of coming out on top, which is pretty cool stuff. It actually surprised me. Wow, that worked! Woo!
You just pulled up and head on the hell out of him.
Yeah, that worked. Wanna spice things up? Well, let's take a look at
myth number 2. You can avoid a missile in a similar way to myth number 1, only you activate wheel mode to fall to the ground as a missile flies at you.
This too is also confirmed. This one's a little more difficult and ultimately not as good in my opinion as simply pulling up, but I guess if you were at high altitude and you needed a quick escape from the combat situation, then this seems like a pretty good get out of blowjob free card. Wanna spice things up even more? Add a little spin to things? Literally?
Myth number 3. You can avoid missiles by flying in place with a circle.
This is also confirmed. Alright, so I can't really say if there would be any instance that anyone would actually do this, but you can avoid missiles while in fly mode by going in reverse, pointing the nose downwards, and then turning left or right. The upward spiral motion, for some odd reason, makes it hard for missiles to hit you. I should probably state again that everything that I've shown here thus far is only really effective if you are at equal altitude to whatever is firing missiles at you. If they're too high or too low, the missiles won't have a hard time blowing you up while you perform what they will be thinking is an interpretive flying demo. They'll just think you're weird and then just blow you up immediately. Though if anyone has done this to great effect in a combat situation, for real, let me know in the comments, I'd like to know.
Myth number 4. You can hide yourself on radar by splashing under the ocean waves.
We tried this, it didn't really work. Although if someone can prove us wrong, I'd also like to know in the comments. Okay, so there's a lot of weird things that the Deluxo is able to do, all of which I wouldn't have been able to try out if it weren't for you guys leaving comments. And while it may seem that I've now 100% sold the Deluxo to you because of what I've said so far, I'd hold on to your money just a little bit longer. At least until I'm done with the negatives. For one, the Deluxo's ability to dish out damage may be fine, but it's certainly not up to the task of receiving the damage, having zero armor at all. Switching between land and hover mode seems to only work whenever it feels like it, and it really does not like flying while banked. And overall, even when working perfectly fine, the flight controls and weightless feel to the car just feels downright awkward to control in my opinion. The likes of the Oppressor Mark II on the other hand is infinitely more responsive, is faster, and can fly upside down, which can reward advanced users of the vehicle. But at least you can pick up a mule with an open cargo bay with the help of another Deluxo, and make it fly like it's in some sort of Harry Potter novel. What's more fun than anything else? Betrayal!
I'm stinking.
So, is the Deluxo worth having today? Well, after seeing what it can do, I'd probably consider buying another one again, because I sold mine after reviewing it. I'd probably consider buying it again, but I'm not really that much of a PvPer nowadays. I don't actively look out for fights, and I don't practice PvP tactics like Ghillie Master, for instance. I can understand a lot of Back to the Future fans buying the thing because blind fandom, as well as people just buying the thing because it'll be good in certain use case scenarios like missions. But let me know if you still actively use the Deluxo. Do you prefer it over the Oppressor Mark II or other things? Do you use it in PvP? Let us know in the comments, and I certainly hope you enjoyed this short video, and I will see you around, folks.